Hey y'all, welcome back to our very bookish channel. And I cannot believe I'm already filming an April TBR. It just feels like the months are going so fast. I honestly feel like I filmed March TBR last week. Like, I can't even believe that I'm sitting down to film another one of these. Here, then thank you for joining, and if you have been a long time watcher, thank you very much for supporting our channel. We like to talk about all things book, all kinds of bookish content. We do book reviews, we do book hauls, we do reading vlogs, we visit little free libraries, we visit local libraries, anything bookish. We do bookish gift exchanges. Anything bookish, we do. If you are a reader and you like bookish content, you have come to the right place. Click that subscribe button. First, we are going to talk about Mrs. Freida McFadden because Jen and I got ARCs. We did a really cute little short on it.
Everyone, I have an announcement.
Oh God, look at it. It's perfect.
And I love the short. I don't know if Jen loves the short as much as I do, but I love the little short we did. This, I don't really know exactly a lot about what this book is about. It's obviously a domestic thriller, and that is Freida's bread and butter. She is so good at the domestic thrillers. I love her other books. I really like it when she goes like out of her comfort zone or out of the domestic thriller realm and explores other types of books and other types of thrillers for her to write. And I have liked all of her books, but her domestic thrillers are just on another level. I just think she is the best at domestic thrillers. So I'm very excited to read this, and Jen and I are going to be reading and vlogging this in the month of April. So I cannot wait to vlog this and to put that video out for y'all.
Hey guys, it's Jen, and welcome to our April TBR. I am a little on the fence with a lot of books to be read this month in April. I've been having a lot of extra moodiness in terms of what I want to read. I've been swinging between horror and thrillers and fiction. Surprise, surprise, surprise. But I keep changing my mind as to what I want to read. So the books I go over today, for the most part, aren't locked in terms of what I might be reading in April, but they are very big potentials. There is a definite on the list, and that's the first one. And as soon as you hear it, you'll know why it's a definite. And that is Ms. Freida McFadden, The Divorce. We do have electronic ARCs for it. How we haven't already dived right into reading it, I don't know. Part of me was just slowing down in terms of grabbing onto it and wanting to read it right away, just because I feel every time that happens, there's this letdown at the end of, oh, I won't be able to read a next one for a very long time. So I've been trying to delay gratification when it comes to this one, just because I just want to enjoy reading it. She does have another one coming out in October called The Witch, which I'm hugely excited for once I read about it. So with The Divorce, me and Amanda, of course, are doing a vlog, and I don't know too much about it. Typically is how I like going into Freida's books. Probably read what the description is at some point when she announced it, but I am not remembering what it is about. I am not going to try and look it up because I would rather just go into it. If you're here to find out a description for it, I apologize because I'm not going to have a description for it. We will most likely publish that video end of April, early May. I know it comes out in May. So look forward to that, and I am very highly anticipating getting into another Freida book.
So this next book I'm gonna put on the list might shock you, or it might not, because I don't know what's gotten into me lately, but I have read a couple of contemporary romances that I have actually liked. I guess it all started with Just for the Cameras by Meghan Quinn. We did a vlog where we read arcs, and I had Just for the Cameras, and I wanted to read that in February, you know, the month of love, love is in the air, all that fun stuff. So I thought I would jump out of my comfort zone and read a Meghan Quinn arc, and I really liked it. And then we did Blind Date with a book, and that vlog is also posted, so you can check that out if you want to. But my blind date book was Binding 13, and that one is also a book that I was just not as interested in. I kind of wrote it off, but it was my blind date book, and I actually got really invested in that book as well. So I am gonna put another contemporary romance on my April TBR. I actually have another Meghan Quinn arc, so I'm kind of excited, and it's called Rules for the Summer. I don't know what this book is about. I just know that I enjoyed Just for the Cameras a lot, and I hopefully will enjoy this one a lot too. I just saw this book on Edelweiss and just wanted to pick it up, so I don't know yet. Let me read the description. Let me read the description and just give you guys a little bit, because I hate just being like, I don't know what this book about, but it's the author and I want to read it. So let me read the description and give you a little bit of details. Okay, so flipping through this to find the description, guys, there's a dedication in here, and it's kind of sad. It says, "To my mom, writing this book during your cancer treatments is the hardest thing I've ever had to do, but we choose joy in this family. I choose to make people laugh so I don't cry. I love you." You guys, that's so sad and so cute, all at the same time. Okay, so I did find the description on Amazon, and it seems like this book is about Renly, who is a girl living in a small town. She has a mission to restore the town's candy shop, and it seems like, based on the description, the town is kind of doubting her based on they something with her father. They doubted her father. Her father couldn't do something, or he let them down in some way, so they're just assuming Renly's going to do the same. And the MMC is going to be a rich guy who happens to be in the town. It said something about a truth or dare game turns into a fake online engagement, and he ends up in the town. I'm not really sure. It's very vague, so I'm not really sure exactly what happens there. I intend to find out when I read the book. But anyways, he is in this town, and he is staying next door to Renly, and that's how their paths cross, and obviously a romance starts. And it also mentions like small town gossip and her aunt getting in the way somehow. So that's a little bit about what this book is about. I do love a small town setting, and with all the gossip and all of the secrets and all of the, you know, pearl clutching aunties and things. So I think this is gonna be fun. I am excited for it, and I hopefully Meghan Quinn was not just a one-hit wonder for me, and I like another book of hers.
I had a hard time choosing which ones because there is so much I want to read, but what is also causing me a little bit of distress, it's book people problems, is I get tired of reading things on the tablet. And I feel like a lot of what I want to read right now ends up being electronic arcs that are on a tablet. I was trying to mix up my TBR just so that I'm not constantly staring at a screen. I just have such a love for the physical book that it's hard for me to keep just staring at a screen. So as much as I want to read a lot of my electronic arcs, I tend to put it down to go read something else. The next book I don't physically have yet. I was going to pick it up and I just didn't have a chance. I was thinking possibly doing it on audio, but it has a very long wait on both Hoopla and Libby. And the book is And Back to You by B.K. Borison. It is a romance. I haven't read B.K. Borison. I have heard a lot of great things about B.K. Borison. I've been wanting to try a book by her. So this one was her newest book that came out, and it's about competing meteorologists in New York during a huge snowstorm. But what drew my attention to this specific one is it's inspired by When Harry Met Sally. I love When Harry Met Sally, the 90s movie, or is it late 80s? I can't remember. But I thought that would be a really fun read, especially among all of the horror and thriller and darker books that I read. I try to mix in some either lighter fiction or romance. So this is my palette cleanser, most likely for April.
This next book is very intimidating for me because I know it's opening up an entire world of thousands upon thousands, probably tens of thousands of pages that I'm going to have to read. But I want to get back to epic fantasy so bad, and this book has been on my TBR for years. I literally bought this book in our first book haul video we did on the channel. I bought this book with Jade City, and I elected to read Jade City first, and I just have put this book off because I know what an enormous undertaking this is going to be. But I am going to start Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. Yes, I'm gonna jump into the Cosmverse, I think they call it, his fans, the Cosmereverse, the Cosverse. I'm not sure. Don't hold me to that. But Brandon Sanderson has built an entire universe around these books. I know that they're good. I know people love them. I think I'm gonna really love them. I've heard nothing but praise about the magic system that he builds around these books in this universe. Lately, I have seen other YouTubers talking about his books, and they're mentioning these books and continuing the series. They're not starting it, like they've already read a few of his books, but it's really made me want to read his books, especially now that I'm in the mood to get back to just some real solid epic fantasy. So I am going to start with this one. This one's not terribly long. It's definitely one of his longer books, and it is one of the recommended. This is the first book in a recommended reading order that I am going to be following. So I am excited, but also a little bit nervous and a little bit intimidated to start this whole series, but I need to start it or else I never will. There's no time like the present, right? So here we go. We're going to be starting this month.
A physical arc that I have is Verity Guild by Corland, and I haven't really done fantasy or romantasy in a while because I feel like the ones that I have been picking up just aren't doing it for me. It's not the genre I go to, so I don't pick it up that often. It's usually the ones I pick up are things that either go viral or it drew my attention for some reason. I ended up getting this as a physical arc, and it just sounded interesting, though it has kind of a typical plot line. It's about a kingdom where it's very political. The last surviving heir to a magical bloodline is trying to hide, and then a senator is brutally killed, and there is evidence at the scene that points to her. And then comes a love interest that is hell-bent on bringing justice to this woman. So obviously I have a feeling they're going to end up romantically involved. I thought I would try it out. I don't know if it's going to be something I end up liking. I might just send it to Amanda, but it comes out in May. I figured if I like it, I can also send it to Amanda. Maybe she'll want to read it too. But I can also do an arc review if I end up liking it. And it's physical arc, which is a plus right now because I'm a little over, as I said, electronic arcs.
And since I also am in the mood to get back to some physical books, because I have just been reading this whole year, I've been reading a whole lot on my Kobo, I want to read this, Her Hidden Fire. This is an arc that I received from the publisher. The book did come out in March, so it is out, and I actually recently saw someone on YouTube talking about this book and praising it a little bit, so that really sparked my interest back in this book. I'm just going to read the back of the book because I don't think me summarizing the description is going to give it justice. And I just before we even start reading this, I do not know how to pronounce these names. I'm going to do the best I can, but this is by no means probably the correct way to pronounce these names. If you know the correct way, feel free to put it out in the comments, and correct me, but I know this is not how you're supposed to pronounce these names. In a world where dragons soar through the skies and magical abilities are an elite privilege, the ruling family of Alim's Keep is on a knife's edge. Can their son Ian prove that he can channel magic, or will his entire family be cast out in disgrace? Etta, a servant girl who loves Ian, is shocked to discover shortly before his test that she can wield magic herself. It's extremely rare for a girl to have this talent, and it certainly never happens outside of a few great families. In Ian's moment of truth, when it's clear he's about to fail, Etta makes a desperate gamble to save him from humiliation by pretending her magic is his, forfeiting her own claim to power. Her decision sends them both to an academy of magic where she must shield her secret from every grandmaster and scheming apprentice, especially the handsome but enigmatic Gurai. As Ida enters this whirlwind of patriarchy, class, heartbreak, and jealousy, she also learns about magic's terrible cost, the human price that channelers willing to pay to maintain their power. So, a lot of things about this book obviously draws my interest. There is a forbidden love of sorts between this prince and this servant girl. There's magic, there's dragons, and the fact that she loved him so much that she was willing to sacrifice her own power and put her magic out there to portray as his so that he doesn't fail, was a strong testament of her love for him. But then it's hinted to maybe a love triangle where she goes to this college and there is a quote handsome but enigmatic guy. So obviously she starts feeling a little bit of feelings toward him because she says he's the book says he's handsome, so you know she's gonna think he's handsome. And then heartache and jealousy. So I'm not usually a fan of love triangles, but I have read some books, specifically The Wolf King and The Night Prince. Those books have opened my eyes to love triangles because I liked those books so much and the possibility that love triangles can bring. So I think that if love triangles are just done a certain way, then I could like them. So all of those reasons combined have really piqued my interest and drawn my attention to this book, and I hope to get to it in the month of April.
The next is a fiction book that came out last year, but it's been getting a lot of buzz and it's just been building and building and building. It was on a lot of lists for best of 2025. It has gotten my interest because I love fiction. Anytime there's a lot of buzz around a book, I think, okay, what is it about this book that everyone is loving? And it's called The Correspondent by Virginia Evans. This one sounds very heartwarming, but also sounds like it has a lot of character development. The main woman that it's about, her name is Sybil, and she sounds like she is up in age at some point. I don't know how old she actually is. Sounds like she might be between like 60 and 80 years old. She has a love of writing letters. She writes letters to everyone, people in her life, like relatives. She writes to authors when she enjoys their books. She's writing to, I think, like senators and stuff like that. So she's reaching out to everyone through physical letters. It says she also writes to someone. I don't know if you don't know when you're reading who this person is, but she's writing to someone that she doesn't actually physically send the letters to. And then she ends up getting a letter that makes her rethink about something in her past, I think, that possibly was like traumatizing. So she ends up realizing that she has to reconcile this part of her life and find forgiveness for whatever it is. So I feel like it's a heartwarming type tale that sometimes I really end up loving. Sometimes it can be too Hallmark-esque, or I don't know. There has to be a right way or I end up just feeling like it's too saccharine. But I'm hoping that I will enjoy this because I've been hearing a lot of good things about it. I also don't physically own it yet. I'm not sure if I want to buy it. It also has long wait times on Libby and Hoopla, so I might physically get it out of the library, but I have a feeling it's also going to have a long wait for a physical copy of the library, so I may end up just buying this book so that I have a physical book to read again in April.
All right, so for our TBRs, Jen and I each pick 5 books, and then we pick 1 or 2 books out of our TBR jar. Every month, I have done a dice roll. That kind of tripped me up saying that, done a dice roll. Every month I have rolled the dice, and these dice are dice Jen got me for my birthday. If you haven't seen any of our previous TBRs, if you have, you already know this, but Jen got these for me for my birthday, and it's a really fun way to try to help you select a book. There is a genre on one dice and then a mode of reading on the other dice. The only thing that I change is on the genre dice, there's biography, and I'm switching that out with true crime because I'm just much more interested in true crime books than biographies, and I feel like it's not cheating because it's still nonfiction. Both of those are very much out of my comfort zone, but true crime books are just more interesting to me than biography. So if I get biography, I'm gonna pick a true crime. So let's go roll the dice and see what I get. So I did get audiobook and mystery, and that's very fun. There's so many possibilities, and I do love listening to mysteries on audiobooks, especially, you know, the twisty turny type thrillers. They're just easier audiobooks for me to listen to. So I'm going to look through the Libby app and see what audiobooks I can borrow. So I found 3 contenders for this that I am considering. One is Gone Before Goodbye by Reese Witherspoon and Harlan Coban. That book has obviously been getting some buzz, and I'm very curious about it. The other one is I've been wanting to finish the Will Trent series, but it's been a really long time since I have read the first couple of books in that series. It's by Karin, if you guys don't know, but I have been meaning to reread the first couple of books, and I feel like Triptych is the first book in that series, and that would be a good book to read on audio. I've already read it, so I feel like, you know, I just need to reread it and be refreshed on all of the details about the book so I can continue the series. And then I also really have been wanting to read Guess Again by Charlie Donlea. I do have an arc of that book, and I love, love, love Charlie Donlea's thrillers, and it's just a crime I haven't read it, and it has been on my TBR in the past, so I feel like it's time to read it. I think the book that I feel like most in the mood to read is Guess Again by Charlie Donlea. I do think that was on my TBR last month, but I haven't got to it yet, but now is the perfect time to listen to it as an audiobook, and I also have a physical copy of an arc, so if I need to, I can immersive read that one, which would probably be really fun, like listen to the audio and physically read the book. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm putting Guess Again by Charlie Donlea again on my TBR, and I really am gonna get to it this month. I am, probably.
The last book before I pick out of the TBR jar is kind of horror, but also it said just a haunting novel, so I don't know if it's going to be considered horror. It actually does sound like it could be. The reason that I found out about this book is actually when I went to an author signing on my birthday and saw Alex E. Harrow with Melissa Meyer. She mentioned it, as in Alex E. Harrow mentioned how much she was enjoying this book. She had an advanced copy at the time. I do have the electronic advanced copy for this. It comes out in June, and I can't remember if I said the name or not, but it's called The Children by Melissa Ablert. And it sounds just different and unusual, and also that tinge of horror sometimes grabs my interest. It's about 2 adult children of a fantasy writer. The fantasy writer has this really viral, popular series that she fictionalized her children into, and they become very popular. But how she portrays them in the books is not how their childhood or how they grew up. It's nothing like it. It actually describes them as feral. So I'm not entirely sure what that means, because it sounds like they almost grew up like in the woods. So I read a little more, but I'm not going to talk about it because I feel like that's enough in terms of a plot that I like to know about before I go into a book. And mostly why I want to read this, though, is because Alex E. Harrow was describing it and how much she loved it. And she was describing it as a horror-esque type book. I am definitely interested in how this book is going to be. Hopefully I'll love it. And if I do, you will see an ARC review from me.
Finally, I have my TBR jar. I am only picking one this month because I still feel like I'm behind. I've picked, of the 3 out of this jar I've read 2 of them. I did read the Alice Feeney book that I drew from the jar. Unfortunately, I did not film reading it. Jen and I are trying to film shorts when we read these books. Instead of full vlogs, we're doing little shorts on them, and I just forgot to film. But I did film a short for the other book I drew from this jar, which was Definitely Maybe Not a Detective by Sarah Fox. You guys will just have to look for that short and watch it to know what happened with this book. But I am 2 for 3. The only one I haven't read is Society of Unknowable Objects by Gareth Brown, but I do still want to read that one, and for that purpose I'm just gonna draw one and see what we get. I got A Scar in the Bone by Sophie Jordan. I think this is the sequel to another book of hers that I've read. It does have to do with dragons. I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but this is a sequel to one of her books I've read. So that's a good one. That's a good little romantasy book too. So I feel really good about this mix of genres here. Anything I'm in the mood for, I should be able to find on this TBR list. So I will probably get a lot of these read, possibly, or probably not. Who knows?
I'm really trying to get one towards the bottom and not look. All right, so I got one and I'm gonna see what it is. Mad Woman's Ball by Victoria Moss, and I actually physically have this book. I'm not seeing it. I know it was on that shelf, but I've been rearranging things. So I physically have this. I'm excited. It's actually a really short book, so I'm gonna pick another one since I've been going pretty fast with my books. But it is really short, so I am pretty sure, I'm gonna fix it up again. I'm pretty sure I will have time to do another. Got another little one. I have some like larger books in here. I don't know if the glare is probably not gonna let you guys see it, but I have all the books that either are in our most anticipated videos, which we do have another one coming out in April. We do have May and June for 2026 coming out for most anticipated. And the ones that we haven't read and we really want to read, we put in a jar and we end up pulling it to, this year we're doing it as YouTube shorts. So this one says Everyone is Watching by Heather Gudenkauf. It came from the March-April 2024, so a little older. And I don't think I have this one physically, and I'm trying to remember what it is. I know I've read books by this author. I don't think I've read this one. I'm gonna have to look it up. It'll be on the screen, but hopefully I haven't already read it. I know I read The Overnight Guest, I think is what I read by her, but I will look it up and then add it to my TBR as well. I know I don't have it physically, but I'm sure I can get that one on audio. So for now, I got my one physical. Of course, I have my electronic ARCs on my tablet. Thanks for watching, guys. Let us know what you want to read in April, what you've been eyeing on your TBR shelf, and let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys, and until next time.